My name is Gary Brado, and I'm a documentary filmmaker and an entrepreneur. The economy is in less than perfect shape, and when the jobs go away, there's nothing left to do but get up and get creative. And there are people all over America doing just that. It's estimated that up to 85% of new businesses fail. So I'm going coast to coast to hear the personal stories of the people who beat the odds and started a successful business from the ground up. This is Startup.
The entrepreneurial spirit is alive and well. In Walsh College's business launch entrepreneurial community, consultants provide advice to aspiring business starters. More information available online.
The Chevrolet Volt, an everyday electric car with gas for longer trips. The nature of things to come. Chevrolet, find new roads.
American Express is proud to support startup and the millions of small businesses that put in the hard work to be open for business in neighborhoods across the country.
I'm at 6 Points on North Damon Avenue in Chicago, Illinois, and today we're going to go talk to Desiree and Ethan, who started GiveForward.com. GiveForward.com was actually the first for-profit crowdfunding site, and their focus is on helping people to fill in the gaps with extensive medical bills. So let's go in and talk to them and hear this heartfelt story. With the rising cost of healthcare in the United States, those seeking treatment can acquire unmanageable amounts of debt. An American Heart Association annual survey revealed that more than 18 million people visit hospitals annually, and the average length of stay is 5 days with an average cost of $1,700 per day. Desiree and Ethan wanted to create a product or service that brings value to the world. It resulted in a medical crowdfunding website that brings people together to support those in need of financial assistance. So thanks a lot for letting us come in and intrude on your work day today.
It's our pleasure.
I want to start with hearing about you as a person. Tell me about your history in education, in business. Just tell me about you personally.
Sure, so I really actually don't have a business background at all. I was a Latin American studies major, so more of a liberal arts background, but I knew through college that I really wanted to do something that was like giving back, and so my first job out of college was actually working at the Kauffman Foundation in Kansas City, helping fund entrepreneurship programs at colleges and universities. And then it was actually while I was at the foundation that I got the idea for Give Forward, the very early part of the idea. Hurricane Katrina hit, and I was just really frustrated that there wasn't an easy way for people to give directly to people trying to rebuild. And I thought, this is crazy, like if small-scale donors are the backbone of American philanthropy, but they don't have a say in where their money goes, there should be something that allows people to do that.
Tell me about your history and how this whole concept came into play that she's talking about.
Yeah, I mean, for me, I was doing a fundraiser for a marathon. I was raising money for children's cancer. My dad passed away from cancer when I was a kid, and I was in law school and realized I was just having a lot more fun raising money than I was being a lawyer. And so I was thinking, this is crazy though that you can only raise money for like the 25 charities in the marathon. Why can't you raise money for whatever cause is important to you? So I was probably going to be a lawyer until I got that phone call saying, hey, you should call up Desiree, and she's starting this thing that is really similar to what you wanted to try. So.
And tell me about your the first stages of getting this started.
I did some interviews with different firms just to see how much it would cost to do a website like ours. And we got bids from like $7,000 to like $170,000.
Wow.
And that obviously was too much money for us at the time. I put 10,000 of it came from a Prosper loan, like a micro lending site, and then another 10,000 went on credit cards, and then the rest I was kind of like working off, as I went as a waitress.
So you took your own money. Was it savings, or did you have to borrow it from friends or family?
From my dad when he passed away, so I had a little bit of savings that I had, and I used that and actually turned something bad into something that turned out to be really good.
So basically you take a percentage off of the funds that are raised to cover operating costs, expenses, that type of thing?
In the nonprofit sector, it can get up to 40%, but in the crowdfunding space, it usually is between 8 and 12%.
Okay.
And the way that we handle our funds, we're able to negotiate a better rate with credit card companies. So we net about a little over 5%. we're able to keep the costs lower for our users.
Paint some pictures for me about who this benefits and why, and how do people actually find out about it to make it a useful tool for them.
The main use case for our site are people going through an illness or an injury. Most of them are actually cancer. It's for all the friends and family who are sitting around wondering, what can I do to help? And he'll feel helpless, and all of a sudden they have this tool to let that person know, the person that they love, know that they're not in this alone. So they start the page, they send it out to friends and family, and they spread the word on social media. We get to help people every day, and we interact a lot with our users, and we touch their lives, and they send us these notes that say like, hey, we don't know what we would have done without this site. And so again, it's like you take something bad that happened, and all of a sudden there's this positivity around it. So I couldn't think of anything more fulfilling. We used to say that we would do this job for free, and the fact that we get paid to do it is just the cherry on top. And so it's great, yeah, I couldn't think of anything better.
For-profit fundraising companies generate revenue by charging fees for each donation and campaign affiliated with their company. And because of this, they cannot hold a 501c3 or nonprofit status. So we're with the offices of GiveForward.com right now. We're going to go up and just find out and see what some of the people here are doing.
I think one of the best parts about working at GiveForward is the range of people you help is so different. So it can be anything from parent fundraising to pay for an iPad because their child has autism and they want to help them communicate, to someone who's raising money for a life-saving kidney transplant. We can absolutely, all of us, say that every day we come to work, we're doing something that helps save and change lives, which is really cool.
What's the largest social media campaign that you've really seen one of the fundraisers get behind?
We had a fundraiser for a couple who were unfortunately injured in the Boston Marathon bombings, and their profile just went completely viral because they were newlyweds. They were really active in running clubs, both on the East Coast and the West Coast. So we saw so much traffic around that fundraiser, and it was very moving.
In 2012, the average gifted amount online was $31.96. How has social media been able to impact your reach?
So I don't think this business or any crowdfunding business at all could exist without social media, and I'm sure all crowdfunding platforms are very similar to that. And so without that, I just don't think we'd even be here.
Tell me one of those early stories of the first few people that you were able to really make an impact on. I want to hear how that felt.
For me, one of the early success stories that was my favorite really showed the emotional support that happens on GiveForward pages. And it was for a man who was in his early 40s, a father of two who was passing away from prostate cancer, and they knew he was going to pass away. But on the GiveForward page, they were able to raise $22,000 for the kids' college funds.
Wow.
But the main impact really of that page was the 200 messages that came from all of his coworkers over the last 20 years who left these amazing messages of what a wonderful person he was. And so that family really got to celebrate his life before he passed away in a way that usually only happens afterward. So it was really powerful for us.
For somebody else who's sitting out there and they're watching you and inspired by this story, what advice would you give to them for, let's say that they're underemployed, unemployed, or just unhappy in their current career? What do you say to them?
Desiree has a magnet on her refrigerator that says "Leap and the net will appear." And I think the hardest thing about startups is always, it's not running the startup, it's actually having the guts to start it, and it just gets easier and easier and easier once you do it. Right. And you have that initial inertia that slows you down, but once you get started, it's hard to stop.
What you guys are doing is hugely important, so thank you for taking the time to talk about it.
Thank you for the opportunity.
Desiree and Ethan may technically be in the crowdfunding business, but what they do on a daily basis is actually save lives. One fundraising campaign can bring thousands of people together to help someone in need. So the question is not whether to give or to receive, but to follow our heart and just get involved. For more information, log on to our website and click the link for GiveForward. What do you call organic food? What did they call organic food in 1950?
No idea.
Food.
Exactly. Exactly.
American Express is proud to support startup and the millions of small businesses that put in the hard work to be open for business in neighborhoods across the country.
Chevrolet Volt, an everyday electric car with gas for longer trips. The nature of things to come. Chevrolet. Find new roads.
The entrepreneurial spirit is alive and well. In Walsh College's business launch entrepreneurial community, consultants provide advice to aspiring business starters. More information available online.